The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Keefer and Kurre. Hey, Eric Kipper calling. What's up, baby?
Family food football. It's the best week of the year.
It really is. It is a great time of the year. My daughter the other day was asking me, she's like, what happened to Thanksgiving? I said, what do you mean? She goes, do we still have that? And I said, are you serious? She goes, yeah, are we having Thanksgiving? I said, yeah, it's over to your mother's this year. But yes, it still falls between Halloween and Christmas. And I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, like everyone else was talking about how quick time is going by. And I said, normally, I would put my lights up like the 1st of December, and I'd be the first one on my block to put lights up. Right now, I may be the last one to put lights up on my block if I wait till December 1st. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we had this really messy, ugly election year. I think everyone, it's kind of like finding out whether you have cancer or not. You know, at least you know. I mean, if you got cancer, at least you know, and then you can attack it, you can do something, but not knowing what that's going to be. It just is that fear, that anxiety. And then once that happened on November 6th, and we finally figured out, okay, he's going to be our president and we can move forward. At least we know what we're in for. Then everyone can kind of relax a little bit. And I think people wanted to look forward to the Christmas holiday a little bit more. And I think they wanted to celebrate.
Well, people have relaxed, but not people that are on the losing side, because you've got all kinds of the esteemed ladies of that great hard-hitting news show, The View, are telling people that if you had relatives that voted for against your family and other Americans and voted for this evil administration, you are within your rights not to celebrate Thanksgiving for them, because you have no reason to give thanks for people that just completely abused you and treacherously didn't support you and your family. I mean, it's just a terrible message.
I am so happy for two reasons. First of all, this is the first time in my entire life that I actually know cabinet members.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I feel like I'm watching? I feel like I'm watching an Adam Sandler movie where everyone has a cameo. I mean, I was watching some really lousy. It was Billy Madison Productions yesterday. That's My Boy, which I didn't even know. I didn't even know the movie existed. It's about this kid that ends up making it with his school teacher, and he ends up being famous. It's a typical Adam Sandler movie, but I mean, everyone from Dan Patrick to Aaron Andrews. I mean, Bill Parcells was in this movie as like a cameo. So I feel like, our entire cabinet's going to be all these cameos of all these people. I don't know how many of the guys are actually going to make it in. I will tell you this, though. It's amazing. Whenever I see that Donald Trump has given a woman a position anywhere in his administration, she is flipping smoking hot. I mean, it's period. Period. I mean, look, look at the cabinet members, and there's not an ugly woman. Now, there's maybe a couple of them that are like 75, but for 75, they look good. But I mean, like the 59-year-old he just gave it to, this blonde bombshell chick. I'm like, there's never any ugly people on the TV when Donald Trump's on there. I'm just saying.
Well, this week, they threw Matt Gaetz over the side because he was just, I think, named just to give them somebody to bitch about. So everybody else could slide through. But he replaced him with Pam Bondi, who's the former AG in Florida, and she is smoking hot.
She's the 59-year-old. She's smoking hot. I mean, when I saw 59, I thought, oh, he's losing a little bit. She
sure doesn't look like
50.
it.
No, she's 59 years old. She's smoking hot. She looks good. All right, a couple things I wanted to get into today with you. Do you want to talk about rock and roll residencies, or do you want to talk about what makes husbands happy?
Well, I'm not very qualified on the second subject, so that might be more interesting. But whichever direction you want to go, I am here for Keefer and particularly Kurre.
If we got time, we'll get into the husband thing because it's kind of interesting. It's actually written by a woman through MSNBC. What husbands actually need to be happy in their marriage and or relationship, according to women.
That could be very educational for me.
Yeah, it really is, and it's written by a woman, which is really surprising. Let's do that. Let's do that first, because the rock and roll. There is a classic rock band, that has just announced this morning that they're setting up a new residency in Las Vegas. Now, you go to Las Vegas probably more than anyone I know. Your sons work out there, Las Vegas Sun. They do wonderful work out there, Case, I
Play.
know you
Mhm.
go out there and see the Las Vegas Knights all the time. You go to see the Raiders. You just love Las Vegas. Um, and so I saw this residency is like, wow, I wonder who this is. And when I heard who it was, I was like, really? This band is worthy of a rock and roll residency in Las
Now
Vegas.
you've piqued my curiosity.
I'll let you guess who it is in just a minute. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Here are the six relationship things that husbands need in their marriage and or relationship to be happy. Ready?
I
No,
can't wait.
number one, husbands need their girlfriends or wives to be happy. Good men want us to be happy. When we're happy, they're happy because it means we're happy with them. That's kind of like
Okay.
that's kind of like happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Exactly. Husbands need to feel. I'm sorry. Husbands need to feel heard. I think our stereotypical ideas of what it means to be a man sometimes stand in the way of finding an answer to the mystery of men's happiness in the relationship. That said, the men I have spoken with, this woman says, often express a desire to be felt, to really be listened to and heard as we do our girlfriends.
Well, that's pretty basic stuff. I think we went through centuries of husbands being heard exclusively, and now we kind of tiptoed into the territory where husbands' opinions are kind of secondary, but that's just sort of how society's evolved. But I think that's true of any relationship, business, personal, anything else. Any man worth his salt, any person of any self worth wants to be heard and wants to be acknowledged and wants to be appreciated. And so, I mean, that's just kind of fundamental, I think.
I think this goes along with we like to be asked, but you never listen to what we say. I can't tell you how many times my ex would go, "Do you want me to wear the black dress or the red dress?" And I'd say, "Wear the red dress," and she always wore the black.
The black one, yeah.
What do you want, chicken or steak tonight? I think I have chicken, and we'd always have steak. It was almost like she was going against me. And so finally, I said, "Why are you asking me? It's just not going to matter." She's like, "Well, because I care. I want to know how you feel about where we go to eat later on tomorrow night."
But you know what that means, Tony? They've already made up their mind, but they feel like it's compulsory to ask your opinion.
Good point.
But they've already decided I'm having chicken. So, if you say steak, okay, well, thanks for weighing in. But
and now that I know that it didn't work, and I want a lot of guys to do this. Maybe this happened to you. Now that I know that my marriage didn't work, I go back to our actual marriage. I realize it's a woman's day. I get that. I dated for 5 or 6 years before we got married, so it was kind of a secondary kind of thing. And I realized the women are into the flowers and the band and the music and the readings and all that stuff. And so I don't want to take that away from them. And I'm always there. I'm the licker, right? I'm licking the stamps and I'm putting the mail in the bot. They're doing all the invitations. They do all that stuff, right? But there were several things where she's like, "Okay, I need you to do this, this, and this." And when I did this, this, and this, she changed this, this, and this.
Mhm.
So, like, one of the things was we were getting married outside in my backyard. And I said, I think it'd be nice if the guys could wear, khakis with a Hawaiian shirt so we could be comfortable because it was going to be September. It was going to be hotter than hell. She goes, I think that's a great idea. I said, super. So I got 6 Hawaiian shirts for the groomsmen. And I said, we'll just wear a nice pair of khakis and a pair of nice shoes. And then a couple weeks later, it was like, well, what would you think about wearing a blazer over the Hawaiian shirt? So
okay.
because then when they take the blazer off, after the ceremony, I said, oh, okay. Then I called everybody, hey, you wear a blazer, blah, blah. And then it was like, well, what would you think about wearing if you're gonna wear a blazer, wear at least a matching pair of pants, like suit pants with the Hawaiian shirt. So at least you don't look like you're, serving in a restaurant. You don't want a guy with a black jacket with khakis and a Hawaiian shirt. And I said, all right. So I called everybody back and say, listen, you got to wear the jacket, but the jacket's got to match the pants. And I'm going to be wearing this and blah, blah, blah. And then a week later, it was like, I think maybe a white button-down shirt would look really, really good.
Oh, the Hawaiian shirt's out.
with that jacket and that pants. And then you can give Hawaiian shirts as your gift to the groomsmen.
Oh,
afterwards,
wonderful.
and they can go change in time for so you can see so we went from like wearing khaki shorts to Hawaiian shirts and beads and everything and wearing leis and stuff to basically wearing suits. Every groomsman ended up wearing a suit and tie. It was 99 degrees. I'll never forget Alabama was playing Arkansas. It was in September. And of course, everyone was bitching and moaning because my dad was like, I'm going to be so comfortable in this way. It's going to be great. And he ended up having to wear a whole suit. My dad hated monkey suits. He never wore a monkey suit in his life unless it was a wedding or a funeral. So he didn't have to do that. Husbands need their wives to value what they bring to the table. Generally speaking, men take relationships more seriously than they're given credit. To be happy in a relationship, men wish to be acknowledged as an equal partner coming to the relationship with his own set of skills. I'm going to disagree with this. I really don't care. I mean, as long as I'm, as long as you listen to me and let me kind of do what I want to do, I'm kind of good to go. Husbands need their wives to respect their individuality. For men to be happy in a relationship, they need to feel respect and have the freedom to be themselves. That doesn't mean stepping outside of the relationship, but being able to achieve their personal goals, hang with their buddies, and have alone time to take care of their own health.
That's a complicated one. Definitely, you got to allow somebody to be themselves. If you require conformity as a condition of marriage, then the marriage is not really meant to be. I find myself increasingly as I get older more determined to maintain my individuality, and I think that excludes me a lot from even being a participant in any kind of romantic endeavor now, because I'm not really willing to compromise at this point. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't bend over backwards to accommodate my potential partner. I did in my marriage. And finally, I just kind of reached a point of frustration is, it's never enough for you. I mean, because that's basically what she was kind of demanding at the end, was for me to be somebody different than who I was, despite the fact that every compromise in our marriage was mine. Yep. So, it's a touchy area. But I don't know. The problem is you always hear the perfect marriage is give and take. It's 50-50. Tony, there's no such thing as 50-50. No. One party or the other has to acquiesce and conform and give in to what the other one wants, or it doesn't work.
No, the Venn diagram does not work. I will say this. It's got to work somewhat. It's got to cross over a little bit. I think the being individual / independent works a lot better for men and women when we're younger. Because I think it turns guys on, because when we're chasing a woman, men will always say she's so independent. In other words, she doesn't want to have anything to do with me.
Yeah.
She has her own shit. She don't need me. And that guys love that. And then the minute they succumb to them or get them in the sack, then we don't want you anymore.
Shit, it's not younger guys. I'm in a situation like that right now. Fiercely independent, wants nothing to do with me.
Exactly. And it goes both ways. And the other thing that I think is really interesting is a lot of guys go into a marriage saying this: well, you knew what you were getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And psychologists will tell you that's the worst thing in the world you can ever say. But, I kind of laid it down because, quite frankly, I really didn't care whether I got married at this particular time. Now, when I got married, I was really happy I did. But I did say, listen, I go to Vegas twice a year. I go every January with my dad, and I go every March for the races. And these are things that I really enjoy to do. So I hope this is not going to be, but I will ask you if it's okay. So I would ask her, is it okay if I go do this? Or is it okay if I go hunt with my friends over the weekend? And I would do that out of respect, she knowing that I was going to go whether she said yes or no. It didn't matter. So I guess in behalf of the women thing, that's kind of thing. The other thing is husbands need the simple things. Let's not make this complicated. Men want two things to be happy in a relationship: intimacy and a sandwich. To be appreciated. So three things: oops, and a smile. So really it's four. It's true. Through a man's heart is through his belly. Men like to eat, and we like sex. And I know there are women out there that like sex and eating more than men. There's outliers in everything that we talk about, but for the most part, if we are validated, we validate ourselves by keeping you happy in the bedroom. We hope we're doing a good job, and keeping our bellies full, and a woman can take care of both of those.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to talk about the whole marriage based on sex thing because it's just not my top requirement, which again every time I say something like that you cringe and want to take away my man card.
No,
But
no. Hey, listen, I haven't had it in 10 years. I mean, look at me. It's an important part of me now. I got a lot of friends of mine that are in their 50s, and they're like, man, it's so great. I'm on every damn dating app, and I'm banging different girls in 18 different cities. That ain't me. I'm just like
me neither.
it's got to mean something, you know. I mean, the
Exactly.
last thing I need right now is syphilis. Thanks, I'm
You
good.
know,
You know.
I'm a performer in real life. When the lights go down, I don't want to. I don't want to be on stage. I don't want it to be my responsibility to initiate this kind of contact and be this satisfactory provider of pleasure. I mean, I'm thrilled if the circumstances are right, but it's a dual thing,
Sure.
and this kind of just laying back and go, okay, get it over with. I just I never have liked the whole situation. And then I look at women and the popularity of like 50 Shades of Grey, where it was actually kind of a masochistic, dominant, subservient sexual kind of a deal, and all women gravitated like that. Oh, this is what we really want. That's not what they project to want. And
No.
Tony, I am never ever going to be comfortable taking someone. I don't like that
I love
role.
that.
And if that's what I'm expected to do as a man, I'm going to be a miserable failure until the day I die.
It is amazing because the majority of books sold in this country are romantic novels. They're still there, and it's the same. You know, it's like the Hallmark Channel right now. The Hallmark Channel is doing their Christmas movies. Women love the Hallmark Channel because it's the exact same recipe, the same chemistry for every single Hallmark movie. Man comes back to town after a while, meets his
Yeah.
old girlfriend. And they just changed the name of the movie. Um, but I do think there are some women out there that do get the touch of gray. The touch of gray is a Grateful Dead song, by the way.
Yeah.
And so they do have those deep dark. It's kind of like the women who hide the dildos under the bed in the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like you know they're into it once in a while. It's not something they just want to share with everybody. All
And
right.
Tony, this is nothing new.
Oh,
1939, let me submit this. One of the most famous scenes in Gone with the Wind. Scarlett is doing her usual Scarlett BS. Rhett's getting pissed off. He ends up running up the steps, picks her up, throws her over her shoulder, and takes her to the bedroom and throws her on the bed. And we don't get to see what happens next. But remember the scene the very next morning? She's skipping around, twiddly dee. She's the happiest girl in the whole USA. So this is not a new concept.
do you remember The Postman Rings Twice redone with Jack Nicholson?
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about that today.
Exactly the
He's
same thing.
he's a handyman. Comes
Yeah.
in, they give him a place to stay, and next thing you know, him and I can't remember the blonde's name
Yeah.
that was in the movie.
Yeah. I forgot her.
They look across the room. He throws her down on the table. She's screaming no. She is scratching she's like clawing his face out. Next thing you know, he's on. In our world, we call that rape. In this movie, it was an everlasting love. And next thing you know, the rest of the movie, they're trying to keep their hands off each other. Men, it don't work that way.
Yeah.
It don't work that way.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It doesn't work. It works in the movies, but it doesn't work that way. All right.
No.
Give me a classic rock band that is celebrating their 40th anniversary of doing music. They're a hard rock band, and they've just gotten a residency. It's either at the Sphere or MGM. MGM's filling up the place with all kinds of stuff. Can you name who that would be? And
40 years. So that's now we're going to go back to the 80s. A hard rock band. I mean, obviously, some of the choices, which I don't know if they're still even intact, but Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin.
okay, I can see residency there. Now,
Yeah, and those are huge bands.
Now
So
keep
you're
in mind. Now keep in
this is
mind.
somebody obscure.
Motley Crue, by the way, has also got a residency. Sammy Hagar just announced
Yes.
last week he's got a residency. He's going to be doing the Sphere, and I'm going to do everything I can to go out and see one of his shows out there. And I think he's got like 18 shows out there. No, this band is a good band. It's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And so I feel like listen, I understand why Donnie Marie have a residency. I understand how Britney Spears got a residency.
Definitely.
I certainly understand how Pink and Celine Dion got residencies, but I don't understand
Garth
how
Brooks. I mean, all those guys. Yeah. All
I
those people.
almost could understand when David Lee Roth was supposed to have a residency out there. He was going to be playing at the Hard Rock, and something happened. It fell apart. Maybe just because they finally looked at him and said, what are we doing? Why in the world we have David Lee Roth out here?" The Scorpions. The
Really?
Scorpions now have a 3-month residency in Las Vegas. They're going to be
That's
starting a little bit
crazy.
later. Yeah. They're celebrating. What is that? Love at First Kill. What was that? The name of that album? Love at First Sting. I think it is. It's a woman on the front of the album, and it's got Rock You Like a Hurricane, No One
Yeah.
Like You.
Yeah. That's the only
Um,
song I can name by them.
Tease Me, Please Me. They have just signed a multi-million-dollar deal in Las Vegas, the Scorpions,
The
for a
Scorpions.
3-month run
I wouldn't have
in
guessed
Las
that
Vegas.
if you had me guess for the next 4 hours.
I saw that because it said Ultimate Classic Rock Band, Ultimate Classic Hard Rock Band. First of all, I thought maybe it was AC/DC because AC/DC is
Well,
announcing
that
that
would have
they're going
made
to the band.
sense. Yeah, because
Um,
they're notable.
yeah, and
But the
they're old. They know
Scorpions?
the Scorpions. The Scorpions now have a residency in Las Vegas. I guess maybe.
Well,
Well, you tell me though, because aren't a lot of these tickets for these shows, aren't these comps? I mean, if you're a whale, you're a big time spender. Don't they throw you some Sammy
yeah,
Hagar tickets if you want them?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's an incentivized kind of a deal. But also for the performers, it's great because it's just a regular gig. Most of them only play about 2/3 of a normal show that they would
Yep.
play back for maybe 90 minutes because everybody's happy because it's in smaller rooms and you get to see. When I saw Jackson Brown last year at the Venetian, he was finishing up his 2-week residency, and that if the place only seated maybe 1,800 people. He's
Oh,
used to playing, places that are at least 8, 10,000.
yeah.
But the intimacy and just the fact that they just could go out there and just mail it in for 90 minutes. It's still such a great small atmosphere. The ticket prices aren't any cheaper,
Yeah.
but I think it's really good for the performers and for the fans to get to see these, but the Scorpions.
Yeah, I don't get
I'm
it.
sorry, I that really baffles me. But you're right; it's an incentive for trying to drive hotel business and throw in some things for some of their bigger players, and it's very interesting concept that these residencies take place, and usually it's really big high volume performers, and again that's the only Rock Me Like a Hurricane is the only song by them I can even think of.
They got several. The Winds of Change, which was probably their biggest song. No One Like You was a big song. Tease Me, Please Me was a big song.
Okay, I don't remember those, but
Again, I would
if
probably
I
know half
heard
their
them,
music,
if
but
I heard them, I probably would
yeah.
remember
But
them.
then again, you got Klaus Mann, you got guys that they're in their 70s, and so it's hard enough to sing when you're Jackson Brown and hit the high notes. I saw James
Yeah,
Taylor trying to hit that. Now you got guys that were screaming back 40 years ago. Can they even
yeah,
think to hit the
they
high notes?
they can't have any voice left.
No, they can't.
I got to tell you real quick, it made me laugh. 2 weeks ago, our good friend Monty Ballard, legendary advertising guy and big partner of ours in all of our endeavors, Monty went up to Franklin, Kentucky, to the Kentucky Downs Racetrack Casino, which I think it's called the Gap, or I don't know what it's called, but they had an interesting group performing that night. Tony, get ready for this. Monty Ballard 2 Saturdays ago went and saw Gary Puckett and the
The
Union
Union
Gap.
Gap.
They were huge in the early 60s. These guys have to be pushing 90. Traces of
Oh my
love
gosh, yeah,
long
that went.
ago that
Oh man,
didn't work out right. I mean,
wow.
Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. Isn't that amazing?
Is Gary still alive?
I don't know. Maybe it's Gary Jr. I don't know, but that's what they're
Wow,
billing it. That's Gary Puckett and the Union Gap,
I
and I would
forgot.
think that gap sealed up about 20 years
I was
ago.
gonna say, what, the grassroots open up for him?
Oh gosh, I wish I'd be there front and center, buddy.
You would be. It's so funny. When I was doing, I did a show out in not in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, for the Grammys, and I was doing a show from out there. Paul McCartney was out there, Dan Aykroyd, Heidi Klum. We had this murderers row of celebrities that were walking by, and three of the members of the Mamas and the Papas
Oh, wow.
had just started a new morning show. And so in order to be on their show, you had to sing a Mamas and Papas song. So they had all these celebrities come by. And so I'd heard the same crap from the Mamas and Papas over
California
and
Dreamin'
over.
over.
California,
and over,
that was California Dreamin' was it because we were in Los Angeles. But I mean, they would make everyone sing California Dreamin' before they'd sit down and actually have a word with them. And I was like, I hated that song by the end of the week. I was like, I doubt they're still doing a morning show. Hey, it is Thanksgiving week. I'm so thankful for you. Thankful that you're on Tony Curry Radio and we get a chance to talk to each other and go beat the stuff off each other. But it's fantastic. The starting lineup, another big show we do on ABC 3340. Big Iron Bowl weekend. We got Ohio State, Michigan. We got Auburn, Alabama, of course. So that's going to be a monster game, as it always is. But make sure you're watching that show 10:30, 11 o'clock coming up on Saturday morning on ABC 3340. Big rivalry weekend. Kind of weird because we had some rivalries. We had like Oregon State because of a lot of the teams going to the Big Ten. We had like Oregon State like 4 weeks ago. We had
they played early.
Washington State. We had the Apple Cup like in the third week. So it's not like it normally is, but the best games, the best rivalries certainly are this weekend. So we're looking forward to that. But I'll see you on Saturday morning, my man.
I can't wait. It's going to be great. And we've been just keep bringing the good information. And what about K4 wins?
Yeah, K4 wins is doing good, man. We had another monster weekend. We have not had a losing weekend yet. I'll be honest with you. I never in my wildest dreams thought that would be possible. But Kai Gregory is the one that posts all of our games. He shows me what he posts every week. We're on fire. We're on fire. And
what was it, 43 and 15 this week or something
40,
against the spread?
I think it was 43 and 12. 43 and 12.
That's ridiculous.
So we're on fire, man. Go to K4wins.com, K4wins.com, get our plays, and we'll have more plays again this weekend. And I went 2-1 again on the show, so I'm 5-1 last couple weeks. You went 2-1 as well, right? Correct?
Yeah, I did. I did. My upset coming through in 4 overtimes. The Auburn Tigers, War Eagle.
I had the Boston College winning by 20, so I'm good with that. We're you and me are 10-2 the last couple weeks, so we're
smoking.
Too. Yeah, we're getting it done. So, all right, get it done. I'll see you on Saturday morning, my man.
All right, Tony. Thanks a lot.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.